Hello everyone, this is Red here, and I know I've been away for quite a bit, but I wanted to at least make a series while I was sort of away and not able to really do many live streams. Regardless though, this is a game I previously did a live stream on, but I thought, you know, to give it its own credit, I'm going to go through and just fully complete the game until full completion this time around, and make an actual series and put on YouTube. So hopefully you enjoy it as much as I'm playing it, because this is one of those games that it's one of those games that takes itself entirely seriously, because it's more it is a video game, but it works towards more the simulation aspect than it does gaming aspects. And anyone who wasn't watching during live stream will probably show, or if you're watching this on YouTube, then you probably have some sort of idea what it's going to be like. Now anyway, we're going to start with our own new character. I know, I'm so creative with my own name here. Because this game runs more like a simulation or other games, it works actually interestingly on a scoring system. So much of the things you end up doing in the game works sort of in ways in how police have to respond to certain events. So since you're a SWAT officer, it's one of those things that if you use lethal weapons, you cannot be able to shoot first or try killing your target, or people, hostages, or of course definitely not hostages, but people who are the attackers of the situation. So ironically speaking, it's actually more worthwhile to be non-lethal in much of your playthroughs if you want to be able to shoot first, because if you have to shoot a reaction shot, that means the enemy has its upper hand. So generally speaking, that's what makes the scoring system interesting, because if you don't do well in the scoring system, if you end up killing an enemy, losing teammates actually don't cost you that much points, but always being aggressive will make you have lower points than usual. So I'm actually going to go on hard difficulty, because if you go on elite, that essentially means that the score system only allows for your character to be injured or other officers, and if one of them goes down, that's the end of the scoring. So we'll go for hard for now. We may have to lower it or raise the level later on, but essentially we're going to go mainly non-lethal for a lot of this this playthrough, until, you know, we get tired of it, and then we probably go back to easy or something. But for now, we're going to go with one of my favorite builds of all time, which is essentially just using a paintball gun that shoots specific rounds that that work as a standard pepper spray round, which works, and then also a stun gun. And generally speaking, we're going to give all of our other teammates shotguns and stun guns, but which are going to be our later, I suppose, loadout. But for now, we're going to use this one because you'll see it later on. So here's the actual game. You do have a squad of team members, AI team members, that are here to help you out, of course, and to make sure that you won't die. But generally speaking, for the first two missions, we're going to go and do it solo. Mainly because it'll be a good way to at least show off how the game operates and functions.
Sierra 1 reporting, unknown has moved off.
Put your hands up and get down!
Sight of him.
Hands in the air! Get down!
So here we have a first hostage. And essentially,
What's up? I thought you guys were gonna rescue me.
you don't really want to...
Copy.
Oh.
Keep it up.
This ain't working.
And I think our first target is up ahead here, and they somehow spotted us, besides the fact that we were behind a wall, but they probably heard us yelling at our first hostage. Now, since this hallway's a bit dangerous, we're going to try just flashing this hallway so that we make sure that the enemy would be flashed if they were hiding behind these corners.
Hands up! Get down! Hands in the air!
There's a first person down.
Hands in the air! Get down!
And he doesn't seem to be armed, which is a little bit concerning.
Chinese food now, or you just pull?
Suspect secure and ready for evac.
Roger. Keep it up. Hands up! On the ground now!
You busting the
Hands
food
in the
war?
air!
What
Get
the
down!
hell?
Because we do want to also make sure that we get all these hostages down.
This is entry team.
I need this
Civilian is
job.
safe, secure, and ready for evac.
Roger. We'll come in when it's clear.
And we also want to make sure we don't get shot by anyone who probably still has a gun around this place. But it does look like the front of the entire store is all secured minus the bathroom, so we're gonna have to just check those really quick. Seems to go for now. This essentially means that everyone else that's going to be a target is either upstairs, which I don't see anyone so far, but or through this one door here, which we're going to close actually, and then use our wand. Nope, our wands. There we go. And now we can actually look through the door without getting shot, which is a pretty clever way to not die, I assure you. Okay, and it looks like everyone else is going to be upstairs, so... One thing we can do, though, is still use the... Well, so there's that one person there, I see. Perhaps we can just sneak up on you?
Oh no!
On the ground now! Put your hands up and get down! Get down! Hands in the air!
What happened?
On the
There you go.
ground now! Put your hands up and get down! On the ground now!
Oh, well, I'll just slam the door on that guy's face a few times.
Entry team to talk. Suspect in custody, ready for pickup.
Ah, si always
Copy.
voyendo.
Continue mission.
No puedo respirar. Oye, cuerpo, no puedo
Talk.
respirar.
This
What
is
the
entry
hell?
team. Suspect secure and ready for evac.
Now, one thing we
Roger
can
that.
do,
Standing by for further reports.
is I believe if you look at here, so as game freak out a little bit, we do have a sniper that you can control. And what you can do with the sniper is essentially look through the window and actually see if there's anyone there. Because a lot of this map is a lot about having to at least know the situation. And if you know where the enemies are, it makes it a lot easier for them to get them, so to speak.
Talk. This is Sierra 1. Entry team spotted.
That's our guy.
Talk to entry team.
Talk,
Mission
this is entry
objectives
team.
accomplished.
Now the sniper's up there.
Back in.
Yep, and there we go. That finishes the mission. Now sniper was up there, so you're able to see him and be able to use him effectively to look at the map. A lot of the other missions are not as friendly for snipers, but snipers do end up helping the situation a lot. But that was the first mission. It was pretty simple. Only just a few people to take out and remove, but later on when the game gets a lot more difficult, we're going to have to switch over to different weapons that are a lot more effective and non-lethal.
3-9 Adam, this is Central BCC. Adam, Boy, and Truck 1 responding to 25 Glendive Lane for high-risk warrant service.
So here comes the second mission of the game, which is probably one of the more creepier missions, so to speak. And generally the gist of it is that there's a few people missing, and we finally tracked them down to this house where we're going to find and meet some interesting and lovely people.
Talk. This is entry
That's
team.
right, Lisa.
We're in the house and
According to
continuing
police,
on.
Another female body
Roger
was
that.
discovered
Proceed
this
with
morning.
caution.
It is believed that this young woman is also a victim of the so-called law school lyncher. According to our sources, the police are completely stumped and have no leads at this time.
A lot of this mission is pretty creepy, if I'm being honest. But luckily it's one of the earlier missions, so it's not particularly difficult, but you have a lot of creepy things like, you know, dead rats everywhere, which is not particularly good at all. And then you have this area here, which is 3 rooms, and in any one of these rooms, if someone past that door actually opens the door, then I'm essentially dead. But hopefully, I think we're going to be just okay enough to not be taken out by anyone particular. They probably should search every room in this house before we move on.
Police, get down now! Put your hands
You
up
got
and
no
get down!
right to come in
Hands in the
here.
air!
There
Get
you go.
down!
We have
Put your
one
hands up
person
and get
here.
down!
The mother of the house.
Entry team to talk. Civilian is okay, ready for evac.
Copy. Keep it up.
You better leave my little boy alone.
Who kind of is living in a bit of a hoarder house, I have to admit. It's not the
I would just like to say
nicest place here.
that if you can hear me, honey, I love you very much. And I'd like to say
But you have to admit, the entire house has really good atmosphere.
Talk, this is Sierra 1. Element spotted.
Okay, that's the first floor pretty much looked after. Now actually comes the rest of the basement, which is essentially this door here. And since it's still closed, that means no one's actually gone through it yet. And it's probably more or less a good thing. But it gets a lot more interesting past this point. Oh, once it's unlocked, of course. Okay, next room is clear. Just to make sure we're a bit quiet before we enter this next room. Still no one to be seen. Just a bit of a tiny bit creepy.
Talk, this is entry team. We found an unidentified female victim in need of medical assistance. Entry team to talk. Civilian down, but breathing. Ready for evac.
Copy. EMTs standing by.
Okay. Still no one else here. Which, make sure we don't get shot on one of these corners, which will be the worst. And still no one.
Go away.
Hush, hush. Don't cry.
Can anyone hear me?
Drop your weapon!
Yeah, there we go.
Get those hands, get down! Hands in the air!
me.
Police, get down now!
Yeah, we got the guy.
Entry team to talk. Suspect is secured and ready for transport.
Roger that. Standing
Don't
by
tell
for
Ma
further
about this.
reports. Talk to entry team.
Talk, this is
Objective
entry team.
accomplished. Time to
Entry
head
team
back
to
in.
talk. We found...
We're done. Make him safe.
There we go. Another 100% on the mission, but that was certainly the one of the more interesting ones, to say the least. A bit weird, a bit creepy, but you know, at least a bit weird, a bit creepy, but at least we have gotten it over with. Yeah. Okay. At least this is where things sort of get a bit interesting. So once you get to the quick fuel convenience store, things will get a bit more harder. We won't switch over loadouts yet, because the paintball and the taser stun gun, which I don't think I've shown you yet, are still viable. But once we get over to the library mission, things will get a lot more harder, to say the least. So unlike other games, this sort of works on the basis
Cancel visual on the unknown. Moved out of the store area.
SWAT is one of those games that, unlike the Rainbow Six game,
You're not too late.
Police, put your hands up! Put your hands up and get down!
My hands
Zero
are up.
one
Don't
reporting.
shoot.
Unknown in the store. Side 1, level 1.
if your character dies, essentially is game over, especially on single player. If you do just multiplayer, then your rest of your players can continue.
01 to entry team. Lost unknown contact.
But essentially, if I
Is
die,
there some mistake
Talk,
here?
this is entry
You
team.
gotta stop those
Civilian
shooters.
Then the
security
game
ready
is
to
over.
evacuate.
Copy. Trailer standing by.
so if I can recall from playing the game,
Sierra 1
No one's
reporting.
using the
Be
restrooms.
advised I've lost sight of the suspect.
but let's see. Yeah, still see no one here yet. I do hear someone coming.
Sierra 1 reporting. I have an unknown contact.
And since these doors are open, that makes it very dangerous to walk down this hallway. Yeah, I see there's one person over there.
Hands in the air! Get down! Put your hands up and get down! Don't shoot!
Sierra 1 reporting. The target has
Okay.
moved away.
Do you feel like one person's gonna come through here?
Where'd they come from? Shit, this is bad. Drop your weapons!
There we go. See all suspects down.
Do it now!
Sierra 1 reporting. I have physical contact.
And the last one's still over there.
Police, get down now! Police, put your hands up! Police, drop your weapons!
Doc, this is Sierra 1.
Police,
Element
get down
spotted.
now! Hands up!
And this is where the stunt gunner comes in.
On the ground, now!
play.
Get down! Hands in the air! Get down!
Because no matter how many times people resist, they just cannot resist the stun gun.
For transport.
Roger that. Standing by for further reports.
Entry team to talk. Suspect in custody, ready for pickup.
Roger. Keep it up.
Talk, this is entry team. Suspect cuffed and secure for transport.
Roger that. Standing by for further reports.
I want my lawyer.
Talk, this is entry team. Suspect secure and ready for evac.
Copy. Continue mission.
Goddamn
Entry team to talk. Suspect in custody, ready for pickup.
Roger. Keep it up.
But once you're able to at least hit them with the pepper spray gun on these stages, they at least will go down. And once they're already down on their knees, they won't. I've never seen them actually raise back up again and try to go for their gun. So once they actually are on the ground, they are neutralized.
Hands in the air! Get down! Drop your weapons! Drop the gun! Do it now! Shit! Police, drop your weapons! Police, on your knees! Get down! Hands in the air! They gassed us!
It's another person down.
Talk, this is entry team. Suspect secure and ready for evac.
Copy. Stay sharp.
What is that?
I don't think I see anyone else in this one room. And of course this leading room will lead back to the safe room, which was the whole room that people were trying to take in the first place. And last but not least is these side rooms, which I think since most of the suspects have been taken care of, the rest that we have here is just civvies. Let's see. Yeah, mostly civvies. This door is open, which means someone was walking through here. Doesn't mean it has to be a suspect. But it usually is a suspect and not usually a hostage.
This has been
Entry
the
team to
worst
talk.
night.
Civilian is okay, ready for evac.
Copy. Keep it up.
Hey,
Doc, to
why are
entry
you
team.
treating me
Check
like a
this out,
criminal?
please.
Civilian ready.
We're done.
There we
Make it
go.
Safe. We're heading in.
Easy enough. But like I mentioned before, because I did get shot during this mission, but since I did get shot during this one mission, I did get -5 points off for player and injured. So 0, 1, 0 points. And I ended up getting 95 points instead.
7-9 Adam, this is Central BCC. Multiple SWAT units responding code 3 to CP at 127th and Adelaide. Barricade situation.
Now here comes the nightclub mission, which is probably going to be the last mission I'm able to use the paintball gun in order to use as a weapon.
Talk, this is entry team. Injured civilian ready for evac.
Copy. EMTs standing by.
Because the game essentially gets a lot more harder after that. After this point. Because what we've been seeing is me trying to shoot people down in hallways and be able to get them through. Because what you've been able to see is me getting and knocking out several enemies at a time just with the paintball gun, that's what the paintball gun is good for. It's just a good non-lethal way to eliminate multiple enemies at once because it's rapid fire.
Talk, this is entry team. Civilian is injured but alive. Notify the EMTs.
Roger that. EMTs standing by.
But as the game ends up continuing down the mission tree, it essentially gets a lot harder to take out these enemies. Let's see.
Police, put your hands up.
we go.
Police, on your knees. No more trouble from me. Cops, get ready.
The gas does.
Okay, well he did end up running away, which is okay. That just means we're going to be a bit more aware of our presence.
Guess you didn't like the band.
Don't whine.
Where's my
Entry
goddamn
team to
lawyer?
talk. Suspect is secured and ready for transport.
Copy.
Drop
Stay
your
sharp.
weapon. Get those hands up.
Let's see if we can just snipe him.
Get down. Hands in the air. Drop the gun. Do it now.
Shit! Don't shoot.
Drop your weapons. Police, get down now.
Let's see.
Police, put your hands up. On the ground now. Police, get down now.
As a rule of thumb, as long as the suspect is on their knees, they generally won't come back up again to run or
Talk, this
go
is
after
entry
you.
team. Civilian is safe, secure, and ready for evac.
Copy. Keep it up.
But if they've just been stunned, like been gassed, then they will have a larger chance of going back up against you.
This is entry team.
Put your hands up and get down. Police, on your knees.
Let's see, I don't see if he had a gun here, which means the gun might have despawned or got moved away by the door, which is going to mean essentially points away from me. Unless I somehow picked it
I
up.
just
Talk,
came
this
to the
is
club.
entry
I
team.
didn't do
Civilian
anything.
secured and ready to evacuate.
Roger that. Trailer standing by.
Entry team to talk.
Man's gonna
Suspect
be
in custody, ready for pickup.
Copy. Continue mission.
And yes, you do have to call in every single civilian and enemy in the room that you see. Let's see.
What the hell?
good use of
Put your
flashbang.
hands up and get down! Hands up! Police,
I ain't
drop
dying
your
for this
weapons!
shit.
Police, on your knees!
Anything, huh? Idiot.
Police, get down now!
And generally, flashbangs are really good at being a good stun for everyone as an AoE.
Oh, shit.
Entry team to talk.
Man's gonna be
Suspect is
pissed.
secured and ready for transport.
Copy. Stay sharp.
You didn't hear what those
Talk, this is
bastards
entry
said.
team. Suspect cuffed and secure for transport.
Roger.
Get down! On the ground, now!
Don't shoot!
Entry team to talk. Suspect in custody, ready for pickup.
Roger
I was
that.
just defending
Standing by
myself.
for further reports.
So as also a rule of thumb, generally speaking, when you're playing this game, you always kind of want to go in a walking animation. And so if you're always walking, then your crosshairs don't always move up as much, which makes it a lot more easier to be able to shoot someone when walking or moving through an area.
Drop your weapon! Get those hands! Police, get down now!
Hey, don't shoot!
Hands up!
Ah, shit! What is that?
Police, put your hands up!
Don't shoot me!
Police, get down now!
This is happening.
You don't scare
Entry
me.
team to talk. Suspect is secured and ready for transport.
Roger. Keep it up.
This was the
Entry
worst
team
night.
to talk. Civilian ready to evacuate.
Copy. We'll be ready for them.
So this is also one of those areas you have to keep in mind and actually have to pay attention to, because if you walk straight down this hallway, that open door where the entrance is will usually have a suspect there. And so usually it's not a really good area to walk through because it's usually a kill point. An area that you would most likely die in. So you want to make sure that you do not actually get in front of that window. As far as I know,
Talk, this is entry
01.
team.
Element
A lot of
spotted.
kids didn't make it out and we're moving slower than expected. Continuing on.
Roger that.
Talk,
Stay
this
sharp.
is entry team. Injured civilian ready for evac.
Copy. EMTs standing by.
and as you see here, we have 3 guys already aiming this direction. Which I believe, yeah, all 3 of them are active targets because they're walking around with their guns. So in order to do this one, it's a bit too close to use a flash grenade. So hit the door once, so then they'll be agitated, and then when they walk through, we'll be able to shoot them.
I'm out of here.
Or they actually will run.
Don't just stand there. Help me.
Police, on your knees!
You
Police,
don't know
put your hands up!
idiot.
Alright, we'll use this angle here to throw that flash. Didn't really work, but that's okay.
Get your hands up and get down! Hands up!
This isn't a show. It's a nightmare.
Police, get down now!
I want my lawyer.
Entry team to talk. Suspect in custody, ready for pickup.
Copy. Continue mission.
Entry team to talk. We've got a wounded civilian.
Roger that. EMTs standing by.
Hey, wait.
Entry team
Why are
to
you
talk.
treating me like
Civilian
a
is
criminal?
okay, ready for evac.
Roger. We'll come in when it's clear.
And even though the other two suspects have run away, it won't be the end of the world if they do. That doesn't mean that they are in new positions and you don't know where they are. But at least you have some idea that they're probably in just the next adjacent room. Which is still not around for now. Just means you have to watch your corners a bit much. Bit more.
Talk, this is entry team. Injured civilian ready for evac.
Copy. EMTs standing by.
And as you see, there's a shadow right there. Which probably means this is where runners were from the previous room. See, it's right there. See if we can just get that one dude right there. No. But we do have our last flash grenade, which we're probably just going to use right there.
On the ground, now! Hands up! Get down!
Someone joined the party.
Hands in the air! Get down!
That's not clubby. What's
Police,
up?
get down
Where'd they
now!
come from?
Get down! Hands in the air! On the ground, now!
You won't stop us.
Drop your weapon! On the ground!
And there we go. Boom, pacified.
Entry team to talk. Suspect is secured and ready for transport.
Roger that. Standing by for further reports.
Entry team to talk. Suspect in custody, ready for pickup.
Roger. Waiting for your all clear.
We was just
Talk, this
playing
is entry
around.
team. Suspect secure and ready for evac.
Copy. Continue mission.
So even if a enemy refuses to actually fully surrender, you can still continuously stun him with your stun weapon, if that's what you're using, to continue a cycle of stuns, so then they won't just simply get back up and shoot you again if you try and take down lots of people in one room.
Entry team to talk. Civilian hit, in need of medical attention. Be ready.
Copy. Notifying EMTs.
Now here comes the specialty room, which if you get just a quick peek, there might potentially be someone here, but a lot of the enemies are randomly spawned within the map, so sometimes you get them here, sometimes you don't. It looks like this time around there's no one here, which is great. And it looks like they're just one hostage here, because usually enemies don't usually cower like that.
Wow, I guess they called out
Hands
the
in the
big
air!
guns.
Get down!
Jesus, don't shoot! Don't shoot!
Now just comes to the bathrooms last.
I don't
Talk to
believe
entry
this.
team. Mission
Entry
objectives
team to
accomplished.
talk.
But there we go,
Civilian
that's
ready
it.
to evacuate.
If you always want to check if you completed everything, you can always go to escape and just look and see if everything's here, been complete or not. But now since we're done,
We're done. Make him safe. We're
we
heading
finished the
in.
mission. And there we go, 94. Which, I'm not sure what I missed. Oh, I missed that one gun that despawned, so... Oh, what that one call I didn't make. So I ended up losing 1 point from that. Which means if I was playing on hard mode, I probably wouldn't have passed, because I forgot to call in one civilian. Okay, and here comes the auto center, which I actually completely forgot about. But it's one of the more difficult ones, because a lot of it's in the dark. I think since we've kind of completed the nightclub mission, we're going to actually switch over officially to less than non-lethal loadout. There we go. But essentially it's just the same thing with the stun gun, but we're kind of switching out our weapon, our primary, to be a shotgun, which has beanbags. Which serves as it's just a better weapon for pacifying people. But the downside is that the shotgun has less rounds than the paintball gun does.
7-9 Adam, this is Central BCC. Multiple SWAT units responding code 3 to command post at 29th and Arlington. Barricade hostage situation.
Also, one cool thing you can do is use your mirror to actually spot out different people. But now, anyway, we're going to start using our AI teammates, because these missions are going to be a lot more harder to do as solo.
Red, fall in on me. Blue,
Understood.
regroup and follow me. Copy. On our way.
In position.
Move on in. Going and gone.
Red team.
Can't
suspect
fly,
with
you
sight.
know.
Hands
Get your
up.
hands
Now.
Put your hands up.
Put your hands up. Car ain't worth this. Suspect is compliant.
And now, since we actually have our AI squad mates with us, it'll make it a lot more easier
Gold.
to have everyone move
Red
in.
team, stay with me. I'm on point.
Stay down. Roger.
Blue team,
Moving to you.
stack
Got
up on
your
that
back,
door.
sir.
Got it.
Most of the cars here are
Doc,
boosted
this
anyway.
is entry team. Suspect secure and ready for evac.
Roger.
Check behind
Waiting
the
for
door.
your all clear.
Red, move up. Check the door.
Roger that, sir.
It's
One
open.
suspect
in sight. Mirror it. Check under the door.
Oh,
Two
Blue,
armed suspects
open and
visible.
clear. Bang it. Red team, bang it. Go in ready.
Suspect spotted.
Can't do two things at once.
Drop your weapons! Do it! Drop your weapons! Do it! Drop your weapons!
Police, drop your weapons.
On your knees!
Do
it! Get down! Hands in the air!
Suspect is compliant.
Blue team, regroup and stand by to move.
Don't make any trouble. With you.
Red, cuff him.
Come on, boss.
Now the AI definitely will make things a lot more easier to handle, and at the same time,
Stack up. Try the lock.
it makes your job a lot faster if you're having AI buddies to do the job for us.
Trash.
Secured suspect.
Entry team to talk. Suspect in custody, ready for pickup.
Mirror under the door.
No targets.
Red
visible.
team. I got point. Get behind me. Blue team. Open and clear. Move when ready.
With you.
Moving. Go. Clear so far.
Suspect in sight.
Continuing.
Red. Fall in on me.
Hit the floor.
With you, sir.
Hey, no more trouble from me.
Blue. Keep going.
Okay.
Bang it.
Copy. On it.
So our blue team. Oh, and AI buddies have decided to flash us.
Red team. Red. Zip him up.
Check. On it.
You have the right to Blue team. Silent. Keep it going.
Secured
Clear
suspect.
it. Copy. On it. Red team.
Time to move.
Take care of that room.
Police, drop
Come on,
your
boss.
hands down. Moving on. Entry team to talk. Suspect is secured and ready for transport.
Roger that. Standing by for further reports.
Here they come!
Over here! Police! Get down now! Hands in the air! Get down! Get down! Hands in the air! Hands up!
Blue. Cuff him.
On it.
And there we go.
Goddamn it.
Talk, this is entry team.
You're in no
Suspect,
position.
Talk, this is entry
Shut
team.
it up.
Suspect
Taken into
Ready
custody.
to go. Check. On it. Don't worry. We've got it under control. What a nightmare. Restrain civilian. You aren't helping.
Talk, this is entry team. Civilian is safe, secure, and ready for evac.
Roger that. Trailer standing by.
Red. Keep it going. Clear it. Blue
Check.
team.
On it.
Let's check that corner. Take care of that. I got point. Get behind me.
Okay.
In position.
Suspect in sight. Open and clear.
Copy that.
So while our red buddies up there, but take care of the top. Blue and I will be here. And there you go.
Yeah, his goddamn car ain't worth this.
Make him secure. Right on.
And we have lost one officer.
Talk, this is entry team.
Secured.
Suspect secure and ready for evac.
Copy. Continue mission.
Which AI is not particularly well at doing well at very close quarters. But for now, I'm gonna have
Shut the door.
stand there for now and get red team. So we are shooting beanbags at people, which
Talk, this is entry team. Officer down. Talk, this is entry team. Officer Gerard down. Ready for evac. Drop your weapons! Police, put your hands up! Get down! Hands in the air! Shoot! Hands in the air! Get down! Police, on your knees! Put your hands up and get down! Get down! Hands in the air!
see if we can just get them.
Police, on your knees! Put your hands up and get down! Get down! Police, on your knees! Drop the gun! Do it now! Shit!
See if we can get them now.
Hands in the air! Get down! Drop
This
your
is
weapons!
absolutely not complying whatsoever.
Stop your weapon! Get those hands up!
Get down! Drop your weapons! Police,
There we
on
go.
your knees! Get down! Hands in the air!
And unfortunately now we lost half, well, 3/4 of our team.
TOC, this is entry team. Suspect cuffed and secure for transport.
Copy. Stay sharp.
Where's my
Entry team
goddamn
to
lawyer?
TOC. Suspect in custody, ready for pickup.
Roger that. Standing by for further reports.
Which I don't think your teammates actually technically die, but it makes the mission a lot harder when most of your team's already down.
Fall in and stay close. I'll take point.
At your back.
So now we kind of have to solve the mission again, initially, almost. Because there's only one other officer with me.
I'm getting here, huh?
Police, on your knees!
Right.
Civilian
I'm
complied.
cool. I'm down. Look, you're gonna get
Entry
me out
team
of
to
here,
TOC.
right?
Civilian is okay, ready for evac.
Roger that. Trailer standing by.
It probably would be more optimal to actually use lethal weapons, but because of how the scoring system works, it's more optimal to just use non-lethal and have your officers go down.
Prep a bang. Open and clear. Got it.
Suspect contact.
Damn it! Drop your weapon! Get those hands in the air! Get down! Police, drop your weapons! Get down! Hands in the air! Drop the gun! Do it now! Hands up! Police, put your hands up!
Fuck you.
Drop your weapons! Police, drop your weapons! Police, get down now!
Next time.
Entry team to TOC. Suspect is secured and ready for transport.
Copy. Continue mission.
Okay, now since my entire team is down, I now have to do the rest of the mission by myself.
Goddamn cops!
TOC, this is entry team. Suspect cuffed and secure for transport.
Copy. Continue mission.
Entry team to TOC. Fields is injured. Prepare an evac.
Roger that. Medical assistance awaiting all clear.
Okay. And we are technically shooting beanbags at people, which is funny in its own right. But it does make these shots tricky because you're shooting a single projectile over a bit of a long distance. Okay, and we rescued all the civilians, and now what's left is just all the enemies.
Entry team to TOC. We've got a wounded civilian.
I think the last of these enemies should be in this one room. Which, if I can recall, be around there.
Drop your weapons! Hands in the air! Get
Don't
down!
shoot. What the hell? Oh! Huh? What's going on?
TOC, this is entry team. Suspect secure and ready for evac.
Roger that. Standing by for further reports.
Okay.
Cops, you're Drop your weapon! Get those hands! Put your hands up and get down! Hands up!
And luckily I was trying to run through this entire area, so my shots weren't as good as they could have been.
Trying to cut my hands off?
Entry team to TOC. Suspect is secured and ready for transport.
Copy. Stay sharp.
think there's still one person here we need to go look for.
Get down!
Run! Oh!
Police, drop your weapons! Police, on your knees!
Stinking cops! Oh!
And there we go.
Oh!
Drop the gun!
Oh.
Do it now! Hands in the air! Get
Oh.
down! Police, put your hands up!
I can't believe it.
Entry team to talk. Suspect in custody, ready for pickup.
Can't believe it.
Copy. Continue mission.
Damn it. Bastards.
There's still one person here.
Drop your weapon! Get those hands! Police!
There we
Get
go.
down now!
There's one dude hiding right next to the car.
Talk to entry team.
Talk, this is
Objectives
entry team.
complete.
Suspect
Good work, guys. Let's head to debrief.
And there we go. So as you can see, we have 4 officers incapacitated. But even though we used, or because we used non-lethal weapons, we still got 92 score. Which I have no idea why losing 4 officers does that, but it there's barely any points deducted from doing that. But I did also get uninjured, so that I don't know. Yeah, but now comes the library where things get just a bit more harder, where enemies just are a bit more tougher, and that's why you need to end up using the shotgun, because essentially this is the only other non-lethal weapon you can use besides, well, the paintball gun. Because everything else pretty much just uses all lethal ammunition. It's not bad, but you're going to get a terrible score if you use any of these other weapons besides these 2. Which makes it interesting, because that means you can't just snipe everyone with a silenced machine gun or anything. Which is kind of sad, but at the same time, I suppose, is more realistic that way. Well, it's not really realistic when you lose most of your team, you get a 92 score, because you non-lethally took out everyone as an enemy. But anyway, I'll see you in the next episode where we go and take down a library very quietly. Well, probably not very quietly at all. So I'll see you then, and goodbye.